The magnificent beings known as celestials created the sun and various forms of life in the beginning, and the universe was in motion. However, one day, an unnatural predator known as deviance arrives from deep space and begins destroying everything in their path. Arishem, the Celestials' leader, brings an eternal troop of superhumans known as the Eternals from the planet Olympia and sends them to Earth aboard their ship called the Domo. A group of humans are fishing in Mesopotamia about 5000 BC when they are assaulted by deviants who emerge from the water. At that moment, the Eternals arrive to defend them with their powers. Ikaris fights the creatures with his eye beams and flies, while Makari moves the humans out of the way with her super speed. Kingo attacks from afar with energy blasts, while Thena and Gilgamesh fight hand-to-hand with energy weapons. Sprite assists with her illusions, and Phastos assists with his clever inventions. A ferocious battle occurs, and the deviants are quickly defeated because to the Eternals' superb teamwork, and team leader Ajax heals any injuries they sustained in combat. The humans are terrified of them and attempt to attack, but Droog quickly utilizes his mind control abilities to calm them down. Cersei then changes a crude knife into true fine metal as proof that they are here to serve humanity. Years pass, and the Eternals now live among humans, appearing to be normal. Cersei arrives at a class where she is supposed to be teaching and discovers her boyfriend Dane standing in for her. When a major earthquake interrupts the lesson, Cersei orders her students to take cover under the tables and uses her magic to prevent some debris from crushing a student. A dog in a neighboring river sees a deviant emerge from the water. Cersei later celebrates Dane's birthday with a few pals in the evening. Sprite creates an illusion to make herself appear older and conceal the truth that she ages intellectually but not physically. However, the illusion is disrupted if she is touched, and she swiftly gives trying. Dane invites Cersei to live with him, but she declines, and he begins to worry if she's hiding something because Sprite is always making strange comments. The three travels home after the party, but they are assaulted by a massive deviant named Crow. Cersei uses her skills to immobilize it in the dirt, but Crow quickly breaks up and flees into the streets. Sprite creates an illusion that duplicates her and Cersei in order to confuse the monster, but Crow surprises them by being able to discern who the actual ones are, which deviants cannot do. When Crow is ready to murder Sprite, Ikaris appears and saves her, allowing her to face the deviant directly. Their conflict flips a bus, and Cersei races to turn into rose petals to prevent a collision. Crow astounds everyone once again when it reveals that it can repair its own wounds, but it's evident that Ikaris has the upper hand and escapes via the river. Cersei then reveals Dane the truth about her identity, and he questions her about why they never assisted during humanity's biggest catastrophes. Cersei explains that they were told not to interfere in the orders of humans so as not to impede their social progress. After annihilating the deviants, they were instructed to remain on Earth until it was time to return home. She also informs Dane that she and Ikaris were in a long-term relationship that didn't work out. She eventually returns to her apartment to discuss the problem with Sprite and Ikaris, and after concluding that the earthquake and the deviant are linked, they conclude that they need to reassemble the team. This conjures back memories of Babylon in 575 BC. Humanity is growing under the watchful eye of the Eternals, who combat the deviants whenever they try to assault. Every time they appear, they are aggressive and merciless, yet the Eternals battle in perfect coordination to kill them fast and easily. Ajax uses her special power stone to make a link with Arishem after a very tough combat. She admires his lofty goal, but she is concerned about what it may imply for people. Arishem advises her not to become attached to them and to stick to the plan. Ajax then returns to the lair where the Eternals are openly living among society. Sprite utilizes her skills to entertain youngsters with stories that come to life through her illusions, while Phastos is creating a steam engine to provide for humanity. Droog enjoys using his mind control to break up fights, but Makari chastises him for interfering when they aren't meant to. Meanwhile, Ikaris and Cersei spend time together and grow in love, confessing their feelings to one another in front of the beauty of the earth. Years later, in the Gupta Empire, they marry. Back in the present, Cersei, Sprite, and Ikaris fly to South Dakota to see Ajax's ranch, only to discover that she has died outside her home. Sprite weeps and uses an illusion to remember her fondly, concluding that Crow killed Ajax by absorbing her energies, which is why it can cure itself. When Cersei approaches Ajax's body to mourn, the stone placed upon her by the Celestials emerges and attaches itself to Cersei. This allows her to catch a fleeting glimpse of Arishem saying it's almost time before losing sight of him. Sprite mentions that Ajax has picked Cersei to be her successor, but Ikaris is concerned that it could be Maud Weary. This recalls another recollection. The squad was fighting the last deviants on the globe in Tenochtitlan in 1521 AD. Meanwhile, humans are at war, but Ajak refuses to let Druig intervene. Suddenly, Thena becomes ill and declares that it is too late for everyone is going to die shortly. Because of the element of surprise, her eyes shift and she begins assaulting her pals, injuring a number of them. Ajak allows her to harm herself on purpose in order to get close to her and utilize her skills on her mind, freeing it of this odd impulse reaction. Then, as she strikes her, Gilgamesh steps forward and battles her until he knocks her unconscious. When Thena wakes up with no memory of what happened, it's revealed that she has Mod Weary, a condition caused by her old memories collapsing in on themselves and driving her insane. There is no treatment. The only way to make her better is to entirely delete her mind and start over, which Ajak believes is the best solution for her safety. Druig yells at Ajak, doubting her leadership because the others don't want to lose the Thena they adore. He's bored of seeing humanity destroy itself without intervening, so he uses his powers to stop the conflict and leaves to work on his own, declaring that the only way to stop him is to kill him. When Gilgamesh declares that he can care for Thena, Ajak agrees to let everyone go and live among humans. The deviants are no longer present, so they can focus on finding their own purpose while waiting for a call from home. Back in the present, Circe, Sprite, and Ikaris head to Mumbai in search of Kingo, who is now a well-known Bollywood celebrity. Karan, his valet, is aware of his secret and has been working with him for decades. When the trio informs Kingo of what is going on, he initially refuses to leave, claiming that he enjoys his current existence. However, Karan persuades Kingo to go and be the hero everyone admires, and Karan even agrees to accompany Kingo to chronicle everything in a documentary way. They fly to Australia on Kingo's private plane, where Sprite complains about Kingo abandoning her for the sake of fame, but Kingo explains that Sprite's storytelling inspired him to become an actor. In Australia, the squad traces a trail of deviant bodies to Thena and Gilgamesh's private rural residence. Gilgamesh has mastered the art of cooking and housekeeping, while Thena spends her time creating frightening pictures. When she sees them, she has another lapse and attempts to attack them, claiming that everyone on the earth would soon die, but Gilgamesh stops her and Sprite clears her mind with an illusion that reminds her who she truly is. Circe looks at Thena's pictures and feels awful since she can't connect with Erisham, but Gilgamesh offers her a pep talk and reminds her that listening is more important. Circe sits down and relaxes, triggering the stone and causing her to appear in front of Erisham. He informs her that the emergence is taking place and explains the true purpose of the Eternals. They were sent to bring forth the birth of the celestial Tiamat, as new celestials appear every few millennia and have done so on other planets before Earth. They are the result of sentient life, which was interrupted by the deviant onslaught, but now that the Eternals have defeated them, Erisham declares it is time to wipe out all life on Earth to make room for Tiamat. Circe is appalled by the revelation, but Erisham defends it by claiming that this is merely the natural cycle of life. He then explains that Olympia never existed and that she and the other Eternals are simply world-forged inventions designed for use by the Celestials. Circe is unable to recall this since the Eternals' memories are reset after each emergence. To top it all off, Erisham created the Deviants to maintain the balance between predators and prey so that sentient life might flourish, but he lost control of them and they became predators themselves. This is why he made it impossible for Eternals to evolve as they do. Circe then informs the team of what she has discovered, and they realize that Thena's illness is actually their ancient memories activating and revealing them the truth. They are astonished and horrified to discover they are artificial, but the majority of them are determined to find a solution to save the people of Earth. They decide to track down Druig and see if he can use his abilities to take over Tiamat's mind. The Eternals then proceed to the Amazon. Druid is staying in a village where he is in charge of a group of people who live in complete harmony. He refuses to assist the others in their objective, feeling betrayed by the fact that his entire existence is a lie. In the evening, Kingo expresses sorrow for Sprite because he knows she loves Ikaris, but hasn't been able to act on it because of her childlike appearance. Sprite is touched by the sentiment until she discovers Karun is filming and breaks the camera. Circe phones Dane to check on him, and Ikaris looks on jealously, prompting Circe to ask him why he abandoned her. Crow appears and takes Ikaris away just as he is going to explain himself. As more deviants attack the Hamlet, the Eternals spring into action. Circe fortifies a building to conceal the humans within before dumping a slew of trees on top of the deviants. Drew commands the humans as a single army, but Circe orders him to halt and send the humans to safety. Kingo takes a moment to charge his beam before blowing apart a deviant's head. Crow pushes Ikaris on the ground in order to absorb his powers. However, Gilgamesh arrives to fight him next, and while they are fighting, Thena loses her sanity and assaults Ikaris. Gilgamesh notices and pulls aside to comfort Thena, eventually calming her down. Then Ikaris pursues a flying deviant and forces it to land in the settlement, where he slaughters a slew of them with his eye beams. One of them approaches him from behind, and Cersei comes to his aid, startling everyone by changing the deviant into a tree, something she had never done before. Gilgamesh continues to fight Crow, but he is so preoccupied with Thena that Crow kills him and absorbs his powers. Then Crow transforms, becoming more human-like, and learns English. Crow accuses the Eternals of murder, but when Ikaris arrives to fight, Crow flees. Thena rushes to Gilgamesh's side, where he dies in her arms after imploring her to remember him always. Gilgamesh's body is later burned, and his ashes are thrown into the river by Thena. Druig agrees to join the expedition after finally realizing that dominating everyone would make him no better than a deviant, but his power isn't powerful enough to control a celestial, so they'll have to find Phastos. Another memory is of 1945 at Hiroshima, shortly after the atomic bomb was dropped. Phastos stands in the aftermath of the blast, weeping to Ajax and feeling regret for assisting mankind in developing and progressing in technology just to see them continue to destroy each other. It is here that he loses confidence in humanity and resolves to abandon it. Returning to the present, the team arrives in Chicago and is astounded to learn that Phastos lives in the suburbs with his husband and son. Following the story, Phastos reveals that his husband restored his trust in humanity, but he is unwilling to forsake his family for the sake of a perilous mission. His husband, on the other hand, advises him to go forward with it if it means a future for them and their son. The Eternals then fly to Iraq, where they use their abilities to liberate the Domo from its deep lair. Makari has been living there the entire time, only leaving to buy supplies. Phastos devises the notion of connecting everyone's powers to the Unai mind, allowing them to transmit their powers so that Druig can mind control Tiamat. Kingo has reservations about the whole thing, and he and Sprite agreed that they'd rather follow Ikaris' direction, who clearly has reservations as well. Ikaris, on the other hand, informs his companion that he is not who Kingo believes he is. Then Ikaris goes back to another memory. 6 days ago, Ajax pays a visit to Ikaris to inform him that the time for the emergence has finally arrived, showing that Ikaris has always known the truth. After living with humans for so long, Ajax believes they should abandon the project because people on Earth are both lovely and deserve more. Ikaris informs Ajax that he has something to show her first and transports her to Alaska. A group of deviants had emerged at a frozen lake, and Ikaris reveals that they were frozen for centuries before the glacier began to thaw because Earth's core became hotter due to the imminent emergence. Ikaris then declares his loyalty to Erisham and tosses Ajax into the lake, where Crow swiftly captures her and takes her abilities. Ikaris then transports Ajax to the farmhouse, where he leaves the body for Cersei to discover later. In his grief, he can't stop shooting beams that set fire to the ground. Back in the present, Ikaris tells Cersei that he still loves her, and Cersei comforts him by holding his hand. She feels the stone igniting inside her a few moments later, indicating that the emergence is about to begin. Phastos dispatches Makari to uncover the source of the emergence, and with her superhuman speed, she travels all across the planet in search of an active volcano in the Indian Ocean. Ikaris suddenly puts on his armor and declares that he wishes Ajax hadn't chosen Cersei. He attacks the main room and explains that he has known everything since they left Babylon, and the crew understands that Ikaris was the one who killed Ajax. When Makari returns with the information, Ikaris attacks her, and Kingo defends her. Kingo intends to assault Ikaris because he no longer sees him as his leader, but Sprite intervenes and creates an illusion that allows them to flee. Following that, Kingo reveals that he is departing with Karan because he does not believe that saving Earth is a good idea, because Celestials being born entails the creation of new planets. To compensate for the team's missing members, Druig mentions Cersei's ability to change a deviant into a tree. Cersei still has reservations since she doesn't understand why Ajax chose her, but Thena explains that a leader protects their loved ones, and Ajax knew Cersei loved humanity from the beginning. Cersei, ready to fight, lets Phastos take the special stone from her body and utilize it to power the Unai mind. Ikaris orders Sprite to protect the emergence while he breaks into the ship as the Eternals sail to the volcano. Then she starts battling him to distract him, giving the others time to activate the Unai mind, which deactivates the volcano. Ikaris rushes to stop them, capturing Druig and murdering him with his eye beams before assaulting the spacecraft and causing it to crash. Makari, enraged, begins battling Ikaris violently as the volcano behind them bursts to begin the emergence. Cersei rushes up the volcano to see if she can do anything, while Thena and Gilgamesh join Makari in fighting Ikaris, but he's too powerful to stop even if they work together. Crow enters at that point and joins the fight, focusing on Ikaris. The others, however, do not want it to become more powerful, so they attack it first. Ikaris captures it in a dirt whirlwind, and Thena kicks him into a cave. Ikaris utilizes the distraction to pursue Cersei, but Phastos captures him and keeps him on the ground using a particular trap he developed. Inside the cave, Crow manipulates Thena's thoughts with Gilgamesh's voice, causing her to let down her defenses. However, as it is about to absorb her powers, it inadvertently quotes Gilgamesh to remember, and Thena awakens to slay it. Cersei is surprised to find Ajak at the summit of the volcano, only to be stabbed. Sprite had created Ajak as an illusion because he was jealous of Cersei's ability to live an adult life. She prepares her powers to speed up the emergence, but Druig appears and knocks her out. As Tiamat emerges from the volcano, the ground begins to quake and the sea begins to churn. Cersei stands on top of him, attempting to use her powers to stop him, but Ikaris escapes Phastos' trap and pursues her. When he sees the woman, he is overcome with memories and is unable to bring himself to kill her. Cersei takes advantage of the opportunity to activate the Unai Mind, which allows her to increase her powers and transform Tiamat into nothing more than a massive rock statue. Ikaris, realizing his error, apologizes in tears and takes out into space, where the sun burns him away to match the tail of his name. Sprite is devastated to see him depart, but Cersei still has some Unai Mind strength left, so she uses it to take away Sprite's immortality so that she can live a normal human life. When their mission is completed, the Eternals have split up once more. Then, as Phastos returns to his family, Sprite enrolls in a boarding school, and Kingo returns to his movies. Thena joins Makari and Druig on the Domo as they search for other Eternals. Cersei returns to Dane, who welcomes her as she is. Arishem appears in the skies, summoning Cersei, Kingo, and Phastos. He tells them that he knows they betrayed them and that he will take them away for trial. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below, and if you liked the video, please like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you in the next video.